Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of the Black VTF here, T3 Live, with today's market wrap up, week wrap up, and all that kind of stuff. Fed day, we were all waiting for that stuff, and now it's over. Okay, so let's take a look. What do we got here? And basically, what we have here is, a lot of people getting chopped up. It goes down one day, it goes up the next day. I don't know what to do, all right? And so we can expect that kind of action so long as the SPY is inside on the month because it's consolidating. Right, and so I've talked about this in market reps before, but I want to reiterate it. And this is what we really want to find out: is which side of this month do we take out? And I don't want to scare you, but I want to show you something. You can see these 1, 2, and 3 here, right? Support here, albeit slightly higher. This is going to be really important, not just this, but because of these going forward and an inside month to boot if we take that out to the downside in the coming months. And I want to show you how this is. We can see this is here, higher highs into here, broadening formation top like that. So people would say, well, how can this be a broadening formation if this is higher lows? So if we go back to yesterday's action and on the 15er, I wanted to talk a little bit of to look at Fed Day, how I look at Fed Day. And basically when we have a Fed announcement and everybody knows it's coming, it oftentimes will resolve in a broadening formation. And the reason is because even though you might think it's good news or bad news, trades become very crowded very quickly and then reverse. So the initial push, the initial move after the so here, if we go back and shrink this down, I just want to show you this. Let's shrink it down a little bit more. So initially, what we look for is we know that this first move, and people say the first move is always wrong or whatever. It's like that's not necessarily true, but you want to follow what's going on. So what we would do is we look at this initial push up here, and I'm going to look for anything going to the downside because I know that things are going to become crowded fast and reverse. At that time, it was banks, and not everybody's fast enough to catch that stuff. Down move, and then we'll look for things to go inside. If you take a look at the SPY 5er yesterday, just off the lows here, we went up, then reversed, came down, went inside on the 5, and we looked for anything that had an inside 5 because we know we can expect to try and retake this, all right, on a broadening move. So there's a lot of inside 5s at this point. Then it comes up in here and goes inside 15. At that point, this 15 was inside. We want to look for either re-break this to the downside or take it to the upside. We caught a lot of nice stuff off the inside 15 back up to the tops. Then when it hit the highs, we look at the 60-minute triangle. Boom, right to the tick to there. Then you take it back to your 5er here and go inside on the 5. There's your exhaustion and back down. And so when I look at this chart, and we know that a broadening formation has occurred because of this outside bar. The question is, once we retake this back down and we come down and we test here 1, 2, 3 higher lows, the question is this the middle of the triangle, which will then resolve a lot lower, which it did. Obviously there's a dividend in there too, but you can see how that worked. And so now if we go back and we look at the monthly, the fear would be that we go inside and then this here would be the middle of the triangle if we take that down to the downside. But we'll have to see how that goes. We're still cooking that inside month. But anytime you're inside on any time frame, you can expect it to chop around because it's still consolidating. So we want to look for those, every month and every week and every day to confirm the ones that are breaking or negate it by going inside and coming back the other way. So if we can take a look at just a few here. For Monday morning, we're going to have the IBB goes inside day. And so even on this big down move, IBB goes inside. And so either we can hold and go inside and arrest within this uptrend and off to the races again, or there's an exhaustion of this move. We can be looking for some of those moves where some of those things are still hanging pretty nicely towards the highs. ALKS is an inside day up there near the highs, and Clovis. So we'll be watching that IBB to start off. We also have some inside weeks because when we have the volatility that we've seen, we want to see how the weeks go. And GoPro, a lot of eyeballs on this, waiting for this thing to come back. But now, inside week, slight lower low. So we want to see if this is the bottom of this triangle here or this is just a rest before more selling. If we go to VMW, inside week here to see You'll notice this, these slight higher highs, the lower lows. So what is this? Do we down, sideways, rest, and retest down into here? Or was this the move, exhausted the selling, and back up? We'll watch either side of that VMW. Facebook goes an inside day. So with the IBB, that's one of the daily ones we'll be watching, and Amazon. Here is an inside days that made it back to the triangle here. And what's interesting here on Amazon, this is also a combination. If it takes it to the upside, this is an inside month getting broken to the upside. So that could be really important if should that occur. We also have LinkedIn. LinkedIn acting pretty well, and it doesn't go inside, but you can see on a day like today, real strong day here, real strong day on a week tape, and then it's trying to take out last month's highs. So that's one way to identify something that's trending. So we'll keep an eye on that. In more of tech land, we've got Texas Instruments inside in the week, so we can watch some of these semis were close to being inside weeks. The SMH was close, but not quite. So you got Texas Instruments as an inside week. You've got Marvell near the lows, but inside week. NXPI here going to be important to keep an eye on. LLTC. Stuff like that. So other things we can keep an eye on certainly is crude oil. And crude oil goes outside week here and a shooting star after an inside bar, which is a reversal strat to me. So I'm certainly going to be paying attention to anything that takes out the lows of this week, next week, and on the monthly, still an inside month, so it could still consolidate in here. Right now, just this can be very bad for many of the oil companies because the longer it sits here, this is now the range that they can expect until it can make any type of an attempt. And so going forward, that's how they're going to be judging the earnings. How can this company survive with oil between a certain range for a certain period of time? And so we're paying attention to that. So as far as the stocks are concerned, and we got Oxy going inside week here. We've got PSX and the refiners. It's an inside week. You've got an inside week for Murphy Oil, which has been an underperformer, as you can see. And conversely, we want to see how the airlines handle this. And then you can see this weekly triangle, American Airlines trying to get out of that, and it's an inside day. Here, we'll see how that inside day goes because we just got hit pretty hard, and American Airlines hangs out, and United Airlines goes inside day as well. So we'll continue to watch that. Some more of those stocks that we want to keep an eye on, SCTY going inside week here. And you can see the big triangle like this. So the question is, when you see a big green bar like this, what is this? When it goes sideways like this, inside, does it go up, sideways measured move, and take a shot up into there? Or is this an exhaustion against resistance and drop back in? I guess next week we're going to find out. And Buffalo Wild Wings, the stock that refuses to die, inside week near the highs. And so we'll see if that's an exhaustive move and finally the selling comes in, or they can really push it into new highs. Certainly that's going to be interesting. The few things that we had interesting today at CANF. What an animal. And when I talk about looking for inside bars, when things are in a momentum move, you can see the inside 5-minute bar right here was a very nice one here. There's an inside bar 5 here, and we had some 3s in there, I believe, going back too. And so that's a way you can catch some of these things that are really on the move. Look for that inside bar, and that's either a rest or an exhaustion. You can see this inside 3 right here. That didn't stop out, and down in here. Another one has TRVN, and I talk about looking for combinations of these inside bars and signals. And so with TRVN, see this up inside week measured move to the high. So we're certainly watching this anytime it was above last week's highs. You can combine that today. It was an inside day and inside week. So when I click that up, there's your combination going higher. In the morning, let me see, was that a 30? Where did we get that? Check out that. 60, where was it? That was right out the chute, 60, maybe 15 or... Oh, here's this 15, inside 15, so right, it starts off the day bullish engulfing. So you can see how this looks very similar to the weekly and the daily. Up, strong inside bar, and then off. And we can look for something even tighter here. And here, this is what I call a reversal strategy, and that's when an inside bar is countered by an actual signal, be it a shooting star or a hammer, especially in the direction of the momentum. Because at this point, anybody getting short is getting their lunch handed to them. And so then they get this chance where this could be the exhaustion, and it drops below it. but doesn't take out this bar, this whole bar, and then comes back up and hammers and closes back in there. That's a reversal strategy towards the upside, because anybody short has got their chance to cover here. Because it's being bought so powerfully, we can't identify a sell side. It's got full time frame counter to the upside, which means that the 60, it's trading above the opening of the 60, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And so we can identify this as only profit taking or ill-conceived shorts. And the short stop is going to go above that hammer, above that, and above that. And we also have real buying. Stop them, stop them, stop them, real buying. And so that's a good way you can see how to catch some of this stuff. You can see this pulls back inside bar. That's a equilibrium here, no real sellers. The profit taking's over and back to resuming buying. So just a few things that look like that. So we had Fed Day. Oftentimes, even though they slammed them a little bit today, that a lot more decisions will be made over the weekend as far as allocation. And like I said, we want to watch that crude oil. We watch how the transports act versus that versus the oil. And as far as the reversal strat, as far as the transports are concerned, you can see this today was also that in UPS, an inside bar countered by shooting star and then back down. So these are a few things that you can look for that I always look for, and it always seems to work for me. So you might want to do that. And I hope everybody has a good weekend. Hope you had a good Fed day and a good week and didn't get bored today and chopped up too much because it was a little choppy after the opening, but such is life, and that's why we go where the things that are moving. All right, I'm Rob Smith in the Black VTF here, T3 Live with today's market wrap-up. Hoping you all have a great weekend.